Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump, the economy, books, wisdom, a message, some confusion, and information silos. One of the things about being in an information silo is that you don't always know you're in one. Another unique thing is that people normally associate it with being surrounded by bad information. This is mostly true, but it really just means information that is siloed off. Sometimes, information you think is commonly known and understood isn't. In a recent video, I said that the U.S. economy under Trump started going down the tubes before the pandemic, and that the pandemic gave Trump the perfect cover for it. In response, I got a message. Okay, look. Bo repeatedly said he doesn't know much about economics, and even said how he got his understanding about good and bad economies from his grandma talking about the price of gold and copper. Folksy wit means nothing. So, if you're going to challenge the conventional wisdom about why the economy went bad, you're going to have to be real convincing, not just say it. Everybody is saying the recession started because of the lockdowns. This is a known fact. So please, tell me what special book you have that the rest of us don't. I'd love to read it. Until then, shut your lying liberal mouth and drop the cope. Trump's economy was great until liberals like you forced the lockdowns. Okay, just to clear up some confusion. Bo's economics takes were above average, but yeah, he needed advice sometimes. I am not my husband. We do not share a brain. I might know a bit more than him about some subjects. But, just so you know, Grandma's copper and gold insight is kind of brilliant. In fact, it's pretty close to a known and widely used metric called the copper to gold ratio. It gives good insight into the industrial economy, and it can be used like a yield curve inversion as a recession indicator at times. But more about that later. Back to your message. You said, quote, "Everybody is saying the recession started because of the lockdowns. This is a known fact." Then you asked what special book I have. The name of the book is called a calendar. Mine has scenes from scary movies on it, but you could get one with Trump waving an American flag or whatever you like. The super secret knowledge I have is knowing how to use one. Take your calendar from 2020 and go to March. That's when the first U.S. containment measures, that's what you call lockdowns, started. Now, turn the page back to February. That's when the recession started. Do you see the problem with your known fact? What you're saying caused the recession happened after it started. Okay, I know. You won't believe my lying liberal mouth. So, there will be an article down below from Fox from 2020. It suggests the U.S., quote, entered a recession even before the federal government began to issue strict coronavirus-related lockdowns and social distancing guidelines that forced many businesses throughout the country to close. The suggestion is correct, but hey, people knew about the pandemic before the lockdowns, so that's what caused it, right? There's no way it could be Trump's failed economic policies. What was that you said about COPE? If only there was a good recession indicator we could look back to. Wait, the yield curve inversion. Remember how I said we'd get back to that? Well, here we are. To keep it simple, it compares long-term and short-term rates. If the curve inverts, it's a recession indicator, generally meaning that a minimum of 8 months later and up to 18 months later, a recession begins. The rule holds pretty consistently going back to 1990. Guess what happened in May of 2019? A yield curve inversion. Like magic, 9 months later, Trump's recession hit. Could news of the pandemic have been the thing that gave it a shove early? Sure. But the curve inverted long before the first story about the pandemic ever aired. Oh, the copper to gold ratio. You know, that folksy wit that means nothing? Just for funsies, I'll put a link down below to a chart. Grandma's method picked it up and started showing signs in April, a month before the yield curve inverted. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.